Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to review the ISDT H605 Air. This is a little 50 watt charger that I found on Amazon. I was looking for something really small and light that I can use to charge something like this little 2-cell battery that I fly my quads on. And I didn't want to go and carry around one of my big 800 watt chargers, my Grobner EX chargers for instance. I was just looking for something that I can throw in my backpack or in my carry bag that I have my small quad stuff on and carry it with me and go and fly somewhere and have the ability to charge from another battery very easily. Of course you can connect it to a power supply, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the small little charger. So in this case I have a really big battery connected to it. This is a 5 amp 4S battery, which is maybe also too big for the needs, but that's what I had laying around and which is handy to have. Note this charger doesn't come with any connectors or adapters, so you need to provide your own. But since it's so cheap, it really doesn't matter. I think it's very easy, and a lot of us already have, like in my case, a big battery laying around with its connector already on it. And it comes with the XT60 and balanced connector already on here, integrated into this thing. Really nice. Hopefully you can see this connector and the balancing port very easily on here. What is really cool about the balancing port is that it's universal. So I can plug in my 2S connector as easily as a 6S into the same port, and there's no adapter needed. So really cool, very nice idea that came out from them. I've tried it with a 6S as well, works very well. So that's just the external of this thing, very small. And you go, okay, so how the heck do you actually charge anything with this thing, since it only has a battery on it, and you can't tell me that it's going to do that automatic LiPo charging? Well, no, it does not. In a way it does, but not right out of the box. You do need the accompanying app with it. So the apps can be downloaded either for iOS or for Android, which is very nice. So in my case, I am using iOS, and you can just go on to the App Store, go and download the ISD Go app and install it on your phone. Or iPad, I expect. I haven't downloaded or tried the iPad yet. Very easy to bind. You just hold the button in for a few seconds, and you hit the plus button on the app and it'll add. And so there we go. Now I have 605 Air one device. And you go, one device? Why that? Well, this is interesting. This app actually supports multiple units at the same time, so you can actually bind. I've seen up to 4 of them at the same time, maybe more. I haven't tried. I don't have any more of them. I only have the one, and I certainly will buy another one because I really like this charger. But you can actually have 4 of them and use them at the same time to charge your batteries, which is really cool. I will now switch to the app, and then we'll do a screen recording from the phone so I can talk you through how you actually go about and charge the batteries. Okay, now that I have the app open and the screen recording going, let me walk you through what it looks like and what the capabilities is of this charger. First off, this is a 50 watt charger. In other words, you're not going to get 20 amps out of it if you connect anything to it, right? So I times V or V times I gives you P, which is wattage, and that's the calculation you will have to use to figure out how much current you can actually get out of the unit. And the current that it supports is 5 amp, so you're not going to get more than 5 amp out of this, and that you're only going to get when using a 2S charge. This is a small charger, pocket charger. You just want to carry it around and charge your small batteries with it, in my opinion. You can charge 6S batteries with it. You're not going to charge very fast on it. Okay, so you can charge at 6S. The unit itself can take up to 27 volt input. So you could put in a lot of voltage into it to charge your 6S batteries, no problem. And it'll handle that input voltage, but it's not going to give you 5 amp or anything like that on the output. Just FYI. Charging itself is easy. We're going to go and click and tap on the unit name there, and it will go and connect to the device itself. As you can see, currently I don't have a battery connected. I have a little 3S battery here. We'll go ahead and plug it in. Again, I really like this balancing charger thing they have on there. It is so cool. And you see the moment I plug it in, there it is. I have my 3 cells showing up very nicely. I can then go ahead and set up what this needs to be. Before I go and charge it though, maybe just quickly go and look at the settings on here. Charger name, you do want to rename this if you're going to use more than one of these. So if you buy more than one, you want to come and name these Air 1, 2, or 3, or whatever you want to do that. You can go and select the max input power. Now it just said this thing outputs 50 watt. Well, it can input, the max input it can handle is 60 watt according to the setting here. So if I go to the max here, you can see I can go and select 60 watt. The output's still going to be 50 watt. It's not going to make it any higher. Minimum input voltage, you really want to come and set this up so that it saves your battery that you're using. So if you're using a 3S or anything like that, definitely 10 volts. As you go higher, of course, you can go in here and change that. It does not support anything lower than 10 volts though, so you do need a 3S or higher battery to charge with. Yeah, the spec says 10 volts to 27 volts input. Output volts, current up to 5 amps maximum. Of course, the output voltage also then range to 28 volt to support the 6S batteries that you can connect to it. Anyway, so there we go. Minimum voltage, you can come and set that up. I'm not going to go through the rest of them. I'll come back and talk about the one click in just a second. So go ahead and do the actual charging. I hit the play button, and the play button will bring up this little pop-up menu, and now you can choose what it is you're going to charge. First off, you want to choose your battery type. Note that this little charger supports lithium high voltage, lithium polymer, lithium ion, lithium ferrite or life batteries, lead acid batteries, nickel metal hydrate, and nickel cadmium batteries. So you can make sure that this is set to LiPo, because that is what I connected to it. You want to select, and this is a little misnamed. It says battery voltage. It's actually cell voltage. How much voltage do you want per cell? In this case, 4.2, because that's standard LiPo max voltage you want on there to balance it on. Battery current, so what's the battery current that you want to charge at? So in this case, I have a 1.6 amp, and I know it looks really bad, but that is what I have here. It's a 1.6 amp battery, so I want to charge at 1.6 amps. Of course, depending on the battery you have, you can charge at more than 1C, and certainly you can make your changes and settings and set that up accordingly. So in my case, 1.6 amp is all I want to do. It is interesting, this thing automatically detects how many cells is connected here. So if I unplug this and plug in my 2S, it'll tell me there's a 2S connected. It automatically set that setting for me very nicely. And then if I hit play, it'll start charging my battery. As you can see, my batteries are not very well balanced at this point in time. So it's actually trying to, I believe, balance that those cells first. Of course, the battery is very close to fully charged, and so it's not going to show a whole lot on here. I'll see if I can find a battery that is a little bit more depleted and try it again. All right, so that's it for charging a battery. That's very straightforward. It's very easy to operate. I think the user interface is very slick, very easy to operate with. Next thing I want to show you, and I'll go out of this charging here. The next thing I want to show you is that you can do a one button charge. And the way that is done is you first go into the settings menu and you go to the one click start section in the setup here. And you can set up here, again, your battery type that you're using. One charge battery only supports lithium high voltage and LiPo. Cell voltage that you need, the max current that you want to charge at, and by default how many cells are connected. Now that's interesting. I would have thought that this thing would, again, as it can automatically detect how many cells are connected, that it would do that, but for the one-click start you have to define how many cells you have that you want to connect. And so I'm going to go and plug in my 2S battery now, because that is what my one-click is set up to do. Connect my balancing in there, and then I give this a little tap, tick, and you will see that, well, it tells me I'm already I'm charged and balanced. So it's went ahead and do that. Let me grab another little 2S battery quickly. Okay, we're going to plug in this 2S battery and then do the one-click charge for it. So we're just going to go, it's plugged in, very quickly tap that center button, and now you can see on the phone, and of course you don't need the phone at this point in time, but this is just for demonstration purposes, that the charger went into charging. And again, this battery is pretty much fully charged, and so it goes into balancing up, and it says balancing done, so it's done, the battery is done charging. And you can note that the little LED changes to blue when it's completed charging, just like it does on the screen of the phone itself. That is also true for when you're doing charging. When the battery is below 25%, it'll flash once a second. When it's 50%, twice a second. Above 75%, 3 times a second. And of course, when it gets to finishing, it turns blue. The LED does show you some progress as it charges without the phone connected to it. So that is the standard charging stuff that we have. I would want to note here that the app really, and when you do this one button charging thing, if you go out of the app and come back, it connects within like 5 seconds, boom, and it shows you again the progress. It reconnects very, very well. I've not run into any problems where the phone will not connect back to the device. So Bluetooth is very well supported. Note that I'm using iOS here, so your mileage may vary a little bit, but for me it's worked out very well so far. The one thing that's left that I wanted to talk about here, since we finished charging here, is that this device also supports a USB output. So you can come in here, and if I actually show you and get that into focus, you have a standard USB output. Now it is unfortunately only 1 amp, so whatever you connect to it is not going to do fast charge, but in a pinch it is a bit of a lifesaver. If you're out of the field and your phone runs down or whatever, you can quickly plug in your phone and do a little bit of a top up at the field. So that's all I need to or can say about the unit. It is really well built, very solid device, and so far it has worked really well for me. So I highly recommend going and look at it, try it out, see how this works out for you. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk at you next time.